And so what would you say that the Feng Shui having the Feng Shui done actually does to the building and to the people in that building?
Well, there's a harmony that's created, like even by the colours that we've used. Like we've chosen colours based on your recommendations as well. And the feeling that people get when they walk into the room, it aligns with them. There's a certain energy that doesn't cause your body stress. It's like you feel at home immediately. And I think that's the main thing. When you know you've got it right as far as the Feng Shui is concerned, it's about feeling at home wherever you go. And the new classrooms are just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The colours that we've used for carpet and the orientation of the doors. I know I got one door wrong, but I've tried to fix that up.
And so, what sort of recommendations were made about the buildings? What like if a builder or an architect or a person was having their home or classrooms or office Feng Shui, what sort of things did the Feng Shui consultant, which is me, say to do? What advice was given?
Well, it was more the orientation of the building for the best out of that building, for its life, and also for us, particularly this office building where we are, for the longevity of the school. And for us, it's about, if we can do that, have me sitting in a place where I'm supported, where I'm being the most effective I can be, well, to me, that's, what I want to do. I want to be able to do that. And I want to do it with the least amount of stress. And also to have everyone else, in the staff being able to be where they're most utilised as well, and also can feel at home in that space, so they're not fighting against it.
And what's it done for the staff since they've been in the new building compared to the old administration building?
There's no comparison, absolutely no comparison. I mean, this is bigger, which makes it different, but it's also the light, it's the orientation you've done with the buildings, the sense of just having been here. Right. It's hard to explain. I mean, the hall particularly was a big one for me because it's a big, huge building, nearly a 500 square metre building, and to get the orientation right for that so that we can have it as for performance, so that any activity that happens there actually works on the positive energy and stimulates that. And for me, that means that we're always bringing new and positive energy into that building for its best outcome, really.
And has the staff, parents or students made any comments about the buildings before and after and things like that?
I think the staff more than the parents. Even so, some of the staff did when we had the other year one building when we rebirthed it. A lot of people felt that. I think for the staff, the orientation, the way that it works, all the buildings work together. There's a harmony within the grand design as well as in the minor detail. And that's the thing that I've loved about this, is that over the time, even though we would never know what it looked like when all the buildings were in place, because we've been careful that each building went where it had to be and was the best that it could be, then it's created an overall harmony, which I think has been a really beautiful thing as well. And it's also helped me look at the building and want different things, so we've chosen different building materials based on that. We've also looked at ways of bringing air through the building. I mean, you've helped me incredibly with this building of the air movement, so that you get the best in different climates as well. Whether it's hot or whether it's cold. So there's those sort of details that come in as well. So there's the overall sort of big picture that has you can feel it. You walk in and you feel it, and then the attention to detail has been really important for that.
And what can you feel? Could you describe that?
Well, it's like it's right. That's the only thing I can say. It's like it's right. It feels right. You know that it's going to any activities that are going to be in there are going to work well. I mean, it's also not just about the energy of a building. It's the physicality of the building too, and how your input was about where the toilets go, and so you've got that flow of if there's a lot of people in there, it's like all that stuff that comes into it. Like the early childhood centre, the same. The flow between the buildings, so that it'll work for the children, so it'll work for the staff. So that's been a big thing, and that's what you intuit more than anything, and that's when you come back and we have more discussions, and that's what I love, is you come back and you're totally committed to the building and to the process and to the school. So that's been what I've really appreciated, George, a lot.
Okay, great. And what about the established building industry, the architects and the builders and the engineers? What was your experience of their responses with dealing with the Feng Shui recommendations?
I think initially they were sceptical, there's no doubt about it, but over time I think they actually got to feel it as well, and particularly the builders building these buildings, the new buildings, they would often make reference to that, this is feeling really good. So they would actually talk about the feeling of the building, not just how it looked. So to me that was based on the Feng Shui and the Feng Shui and the the energy that's there with it. So
that's a bit unusual for builders to be discussing feelings, isn't it?
it is, yeah. And I think you're when you see them making sure that they get the door at the right angle because you've asked that of them, then to me that meant that they were committed to the job, and I was really grateful for that too. But that was because you were determined, in a quiet way, to make sure that the integrity of the design was carried through, and I really, that was a great thing.
And wasn't there also, when you were rebirthing one of the classrooms, the maintenance guy builder being very sceptical and having some resistance to the recommendation? So would you mind discussing what was recommended and what his response to that was and how he's feeling afterwards?
Yeah, is this for the Year 1 classroom? Yeah. What happened there was they just thought I'd lost it completely, and but the process was they ended up, they took the roof off, and it was a big job because we had to take all the lining, the gyprock, everything. We had to see the stars basically, and so after the process of doing it, you had to get the tarp up because it was in the weather. It was beginning of the year where it rained a lot. So through that process, he sort of did it, not so willingly, but did it because it was asked of him. But after time, he noticed as the building when the roof was open longer, he could actually feel the changes. So that was a big thing for him to actually state that he felt the changes. And then coming in afterwards when he was putting the roof back together and doing things, he said, yeah, he could really feel a change in the room. So.
And what did the teacher and the students in that classroom notice any difference? And was there any difference in their behaviour?
Well, there was, but the thing that happened was the teacher we had, it sort of almost made it impossible for her to be here still. So she aligned with the old energy. So we actually attracted a teacher that we'd had here many years ago that we'd been wanting to get back to the school. So she sort of rang me probably about while that was happening, while the rebirthing was happening, and actually offered to come back to work. And so she's still here with us now. So
okay.
It actually, the energy of the building changed so much that the other teacher, it didn't resonate with her at all. And that's where we were having issues with her and with the children. And so then it just went into a whole hum that the River School's known for, which was really, I was really happy with.
So I suppose people and experiences that weren't in harmony moved away.
Totally. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. But not only that, moved away, but we attracted the person who could benefit from that energy, and it could move that energy further and to take that classroom to where it needed to go. The children and parents and. Yeah.
So on whole, it's been a positive experience.
Oh, incredibly positive. That's why I'm doing this video, because I fully believe in it, and to have done it on such a big scale can show you can get a house done, and that's by any means not a mean feat. But to do when you're doing like up to 15 buildings now, it's a big it's almost like an experiment. But I can track the difference, I can feel the difference, and I definitely feel more supported, which is why I started in the beginning.
And so in summation, Prabha, what would you, if you had to put it down into, say, one or two sentences about your experience of having the Feng Shui done to the buildings here, what would that be?
I think when you do things from the heart, you feel the energy of a building. These are inanimate objects, but they hold energy, and they hold memories, they hold all sorts of things. And if there's some way that you can have them work in harmony, and I think that, for me, that's what neo-humanism is too. It's what the school is based on, is where everything's connected. And I feel that by having your buildings connected with the people who live in them, and having the area around the house as well in harmony because of the orientation of the building, you've got something that works. It works. So it's about getting everything aligned, the orientation of the building if you can. If not, then find some way that you can change the doorways or do whatever. And it's minimal usually. It's not usually a major thing that you have to do, but the result is brilliant. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Prabha, thanks a lot. George.